Welcome back to another episode of Strife's Talking Points, and right now I'm going to cover the Oberlin College fiasco. And although most people would think this is a news story where Oberlin College just lost a lawsuit and the protest against the Gibson's Bakery, however, I want to take you back a little bit further in time in this story and the direction that Oberlin College has been taking over the last few years. And before I do that, I'd like to say, first off, please like, share, comment, subscribe, or feel free to dislike the video because I'm not in charge of you. I just want to have the conversation. And we're going to go now. So first off with legal insurrection, I'm not a member of Twitter. I do, however, like to go and check out these stories from these different groups. Legal insurrection, first off, is telling you student journalism shoplifting at Gibson's Bakery was part of Oberlin College's culture of theft. And here's the story. In an undercover report, we discovered a sad truth. That the majority of shoplifting in Oberlin is carried out by the students. Because students just feel like it. Puts in context the testimony that the college wanted a special procedure for student shoplifters and feared backing the bakery would trigger a negative student reaction. And then they have here, this is what I want to refer to first. We have covered Oberlin College at least since 2013, when we wrote extensively about the great Oberlin College racism hoax of 2013. Now, I wanted to kind of show this real quick. In 2013, a massive racist hoax took place at Oberlin College in February of that year, when two students made seemingly racist, anti-Semitic, and other such posters, graffiti, and emails for the purpose of getting a reaction on campus, not because they believed the hostile message. There you go. Not because at least one of the two was an Obama supporter. I don't know why that's used to deflect racism, with strong progressive anti-racist politics. School officials and local police knew the identity of the culprits who were responsible for most, if not all, such incidents on campus, yet remained silent as the campus reacted as if the incidents were real. National media attention focused on the campus racism at Oberlin for weeks without knowing it was a hoax. We have here a short video
to paper our campus with alternative messages. We let people know.
Concerned students and faculty gathered at the African Heritage House at Oberlin College Monday afternoon.
Now, what they're showing there is this meeting at the African Heritage House, and what did they say they saw? We're going to skip forward a little bit.
Resembling the KKK near the Heritage House late Sunday night.
As I was in the car, I saw someone in what seemed to be KKK paraphernalia.
And what they believe she saw was someone wrapped in a blanket on a cold night walking across campus. Now, I've been on campus many times in my life, went to college, and I can tell you right now that people wear blankets. They just wrap up, and what do they have? Of course, this brings in Lena Dunham, who's talking about it. How does a progressive institution like Oberlin find itself in this situation? Because it was a hoax. Because they're trying to force conversations to draw a larger conclusion about society, and particularly about conservatives and Republicans. So, directly attacking the other side by themselves being racist, having these issues. Oberlin administration puts up a wall of science. An investigated rumors that this was a hoax. I met with a stone wall of silence. The administration put up a wall of silence. I'm sorry. I was reading through this, and there's so much going on here. All right, here's the end of this part. The hoax exposed through police records. It all turns out this was a hoax perpetrated by two progressive students on campus. Chuck Ross, Daily Caller, obtained the police report through a public records and identifies the two students who admitted to do most, if not all, of the graffiti and signs as a hoax to get reaction on campus. They've named the culprits. We're not going to go over that. And that is hoax one from this area. Shoplifting is basically considered a culture because students just feel like it in the community. Oberlin College itself was pushing for a list of special charges for people in the community who caught them shoplifting. And one of the reasons they did this is from this tweet. Ferdinand Prontman, the chief of staff of the school's administration and a 1975 graduate of Oberlin College, was on the stand Friday morning to testify that he didn't think the school's decision to cut business ties with the little local bakery was a good idea after students launched a protest claiming Gibson's was racist. The racist claim came about because students were upset that Gibson's caught 3 African American students shoplifting in November of 2016. In this, the police records show when police at some point, Aladdin got away from Alan Gibson, and Alan Gibson went outside after the store, outside of the store. According to the report, Aladdin became violent when Gibson tried to grab him, and he knocked Gibson down to the ground, saying, "I'm going to kill you," according to police. When the police arrived, Gibson was being attacked by Aladdin and 2 women. Police said in the report that Gibson had several cuts to his arms, wrists, and neck, and a swollen lip. While taking statements, police said some witnesses blamed Alan Gibson, saying he was the aggressor. Police arrested Aladdin and the 2 women, who police said also assaulted Alan Gibson. The women were both charged with assault and released on a $1,000 bail. Aladdin was charged with robbery and taken to Logan County Jail, where he's held until his arraignment Friday. That's the initial set-off, is caught shoplifting, which, according to reports from the community, they were trying to get a set of demands taken care of. This is from December 2014. Students, led by a Black Student Union, formed a 14-point set of demands seeking to deconstruct imperialism, white supremacy, capitalism, ableism, and and to divest from Israel. These demands included hiring and promoting of faculty based on race. The inclusion of divesting from Israel was no happenstance. Oberlin had particularly toxic form of intersectional activism in which Israel was so relentlessly demonized as the center of intersecting systems of oppression that a coalition of alumni signed a statement demanding administration's action. Though the administration did not heed demands of illegal hiring and promotion on race, little action was taken to change the campus climate. This is after a group of progressive activists on campus fomented a faux hate campaign, terrorizing other students, putting them in fear, and then moving forward. And you really don't see any action taken against the students or any real admission, even though you have a CNN report,
reputation, known to be the first U.S. college to admit inclusion and respect for diversity. But that is far from what students here have been feeling in the wake of 15 hate-related events in the past month targeting African Americans and gays. They
include all hoaxes.
Include a sign proclaiming whites only, a swastika drawn on a building.
All of these, as again, were hoaxes. This made national news in 2013. I don't remember seeing it. However, this is what actually had happened. You have the actual report here where he was charged, later convicted of the crime. All 3 were convicted on this. All 3, I believe, pled guilty. And then you have these tweets where they're saying Gibson's attorneys, Lee Patterson, asked Protzman what the reason for cutting ties with the business they had worked with for more than a century. He pointed out emails from various administrators that the students might have thrown a tantrum on campus, specifically in the cafeteria while eating dinner, and that might be a good reason to get their cookies and bagels elsewhere. Because the students who've already perpetrated their own hoaxes in the last 3 years, one of them was caught stealing, and now There you go. They could throw a tantrum. The fear was that angry students would throw food made by Gibsons on the floor of the cafeteria and stomp it. Yes, that was the concern. Protzman answered, does that sound more like a nursery school than a college? Nursery school students do throw food on the floor, yes. Protzman added, we are not the students' parents, and the reason the school could not tell the students to quit threatening to throw food on the floor and eat their dinner like nice people do. The college is completely afraid of the students because the college has promoted this version of progressivism, this activist nature where you are not able to control your own emotions and you lash out. I do have a cut here of student protests, if it'll enlarge.
Oh, he's at Kent State now. Oh, nice.
It will not enlarge because that is not how internet works these days.
Really, we can't have any photos.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Now, this is the Chronicle Telegram, which if you want to get a lot of information on this, go to the chroniclette.com, go in their local news section, and you can search this out. You just heard the woman saying, we cannot have pictures or videos. One of the things you see in these activist protests is they must push the media out. You cannot cover what they're doing because they are not trying to be honest about what they're doing. This is a very activist, a very modern way where you don't want your protest covered because you are not being genuine about what you're protesting. You're just there because it's fun, it's cliche, it's something to do, it gets you out, as is the racial hoax information or protests and subjugation or subjects of 2013.
Can you at least talk to
I would love to talk to you.
Yeah, you can talk to the
they are
organizer.
over there?
Oh, right here?
The ones on the microphone.
Okay, thank you.
But no pictures on me, no pictures, no pictures. Okay.
You keep hearing the no pictures, no pictures, no pictures. They do not want what's going on to be videoed. They do not want their proof of this. They want it to be what they say and what the people they wish to speak say. Very much negative. This ad. Cannot get rid of it. Just what it is. Go scroll down a little bit.
He's allowed?
Yeah, he is allowed. Look at this man here who is cutting in front of the local news, the actual reporter, trying to block him, shut him down, don't let him record, don't let him know what's going on.
Of course I'm allowed. This is the United States of America.
Again, this is the U.S. These people are harassing a journalist. That's an actual local news. The more trustable group are your local area reporters.
If you don't want to be a business, turn your back. Turn your back. Turn your back.
And you see how they react to being filmed. Turn your back. Don't let them record you. Hide. When these are the activists.
Would you like to explain why you don't want me to take any pictures?
Absolutely.
I'm here to show what's going on, that's all.
And I understand that, but we don't want pictures taken just because the students here don't want to.
The students here don't want to have to explain to their families and other people that they are acting as a hate mob.
Be involved in media coverage because some of us may be undocumented or.
This is a liberal arts school in Ohio, and they're worried about undocumented. They focus on the tiniest of minorities, and mostly they're trying to cover up their actual activities so that they can control the narrative of what's being said when you can just record them and see what they're doing.
Be vulnerable to like government action.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Freedom of press. You've got to understand that. You've got to understand it. If you don't want to be photographed when it comes to when everybody else, I'm for you. I'm gonna kick them out of here. But there's such a thing as freedom of press, and you cannot suppress that. Okay, you don't want to destroy this by trying to do that. He's here. He's not trying to.
Now you hear there that this woman is thankfully explaining to students that this is freedom of the press. You cannot suppress people recording you in public protests. You have to allow it to happen.
Do you any harm, okay? So if you don't want to be photographed as he comes around, turn around and just spread that around, okay? But you don't want to get yourself in trouble, and you don't want to take this, okay? Anybody else? If we see anybody else, we go and we ask them what their credentials are. But this man is a journalist, and you cannot suppress the press.
So if you don't want your face in the picture, you can turn around, but you can't.
No, you notice one of the main people hosting this is covering her face while she's saying that. And this is an hour-long video. Yeah, F the press.
Just turn your faces. If you don't want your face in it, turn it around.
But middle fingers up, though.
You see they're very good at this. Let's skip forward. Now they're chanting boycott. Now at this protest, apparently the Dean of Students was there helping run part of this. This is an hour-long video of all these different things. And you see them continually go up. And they go in and interview the people at the thing. You'll notice no justice, no peace, no racist police. This is the type of protest you're seeing that's been there. I haven't really seen anybody cover the actual protest itself, and you see that they are basically saying the police are racist, the people are racist, everyone is racist except for them. And they're fomenting their own racism, their own hate, their own anger to push this story forward. And I just want to go through that. If you read the story, it was a violent altercation between a shoplifter and one of the employees, and then of course two other people outside. So you had 3 people involved. All 3 people believed pled guilty and were arrested, and Oberlin College fell apart. Here's the interesting thing. Oberlin College unsuccessfully tried to keep police records showing no racial profiling at Gibson's Bakery. 40 arrests, 32 were white, 6 were African American, 2 were Asian, pretty much the society that matched up with what they were, the society. Now, here's the strange thing. A large percentage of shoplifting arrests were Oberlin College students, 82%. What Student Mag called the Oberlin College culture of theft. Mag was not admitted. That was my initial story where it was talking about this here, where they're actually going over it. A culture of theft, student shoplifting, and its effects on the community. They have massive stories on this. Student shoplifting and its effect on the community. The worker at Gibson's Bakery who got into physical confrontation with 3 black Oberlin College students last November, I can't read, after one of them was allegedly caught shoplifting, made a choice. His choice was motivated by his own racial bias, as all interpersonal choices are, but it also was motivated in part by an issue that all business owners deal with, shoplifting. If you find someone shoplifting, it is your racial bias whether or not you prosecute them. How Gibson's would have reacted if the students were white or trans or not students at all is an important question. If they were white, they would have been arrested. If they were black, arrested. Asian, arrested. And if they were any of the tiniest mix, they would probably have been arrested as well. This is apparently a culture thing that the college promotes. And that is it. You see this, you read this, you hear these stories. Thankfully, Oberlin has been found, has been awarded that they did interfere, they did cause these issues, they were complicit in raising this whole issue, in causing this. And you can go and watch these videos. Turn the sound down real quick. But you hear the chants, you see them. They're all over. Just the same stuff over and over again about why you should shut these places down, why you should be allowed to essentially steal. And you keep seeing them putting the signs, trying to cover up coverage as they curse and scream and yell at the top of their lungs over a non-incident. Now here's the other video. I believe this is of the second one. Can't be 100% sure. His coverage is slightly different. This one was streamed on Facebook. And this guy's just in front covering the people there. You see the protesters across the street. And it is unfortunately my take on all of this that if a criminal is caught and it's actually a criminal, someone did something illegal and they're caught for it, it seems to be the way that America works now and culture works, that if a criminal is caught and actually gets arrested and has charges pressed, the reaction is to protect the criminal element. You keep seeing this over and over again with protests and riots where a criminal is caught doing something illegal, they're arrested, and immediately the protesters group up and go after the people that were attacked. You see them go after the college. You see them, or not go after the college. You see the college go after this business that's been around for 100 years. You see them go after the families, go after the employees. I was reading information that they were having tires slashed. They were having, the college was having internal emails about how to help break this place down. Lawyers had plenty of examples, and what they were told was personal beliefs overshadowing professional responsibility. In one email, Ben Jones, VP of Communication for the school, wrote to his co-executives and school admin that I love how these Gibson supporters accuse us of making rash assumption decisions, but are totally blind to their own assumption. All of these idiots complained about the college. He closed. F them. They've made their own bed now. When Roger Copeland, an Oberlin College professor of theater and dance, wrote a letter to the campus newspaper soon after the protest ended and criticized how the school was treating Gibsons in the letter, Jones sent a text message in all caps, F Roger Copeland. F him. Raimondo responded to that message, I'd say unleash the students if I wasn't convinced this needs to be put behind us. This is what the college was doing. Just an all-out assault and a history of fake hoaxes, shoplifting, all supported internally by the college. I do believe that if this is the trend in liberal arts colleges all throughout the country, there may need to be a massive restructuring of the whole deal. A lot of these people at the top, these administration peoples who are fostering this type of behavior, helping it grow, planting the seeds, reaping what they are sowing, we need as a country to force change into these colleges, to break them out of this extreme bias, this extreme points of view, bring them back to reality. And keep in mind that the report from, Human Matters said that only 8% of all people follow this hardline progressive behavior. Those are just my thoughts. Please feel free to like, share, comment, or dislike the video. I'm not in charge of you. I'm just trying to have a conversation. Thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. This thing has been 24 minutes long, and holy goodness.